somewhere in your family, long before the first census, long before anyone ever thought to write your name down, there was a king. Not a metaphor. A real king, ruling a real kingdom on this island, back when England was not one country but 7. Historians call it the Heptarchy. 7 crowns, 7 warbands, 7 bloodlines carved into the soil of Britain. And here is the secret almost no one ever told you. Your surname still remembers which one you came from. These are 10 English surnames that reveal which lost kingdom your bloodline was forged in. And if you stay until number 1, you will meet the kingdom that swallowed all the others. Number 10. Essex. If your name is Essex, listen closely, because your name is the name of a kingdom of warriors. The East Saxons. They took their name from the short, brutal blade they carried into battle, the Sikhs, and to this day 3 of those blades still sit on the county's shield. Their kingdom spread across what is now Essex, and it held something no rival could claim. London, in the year 604, on the very hill where St. Paul's Cathedral still stands, the East Saxon king Spurt watched the first great church of London rise from the ground. His people were fierce, pagan, and unbending. When their Christian bishop displeased them, they simply drove him out of the city and turned back to their old gods. At its height, their kingdom reached from the Essex coast across what is now Middlesex and into Hertfordshire, and for a time the walls of London itself answered to their kings. If your name is Essex, your bloodline was forged among the East Saxons, the men who held London when London was still young. But the East Saxons were not the only ones who buried their kings with treasure. Number 9. Norwich. If your name is Norwich, your bloodline runs through the richest grave ever found on English soil. Your kingdom was East Anglia, the land of the North folk and the South folk, the counties we now call Norfolk and Suffolk. Its royal dynasty was the Woffingas, and they claimed descent from a god, from Woden himself. Around the year 625, they buried one of their kings inside a ship, nearly 90 feet of oak dragged uphill from the river and sunk into the earth. When archaeologists opened that mound at Sutton Hoo, they found a warrior's helmet, a sword, gold set with garnets carried all the way from Sri Lanka, and silver from distant Byzantium. Most historians believe the king in that ship was Eardwald, the greatest of the East Anglian kings, a man mighty enough to crush Northumbria in battle and rule as overlord of southern Britain. That helmet and that gold sit in the British Museum to this day, the face of a lost dynasty staring back at you. If your name is Norwich, your bloodline carries the gold of the Woffingas. But gold was not the only thing these kingdoms spilled. Number 8. Sussex. If your name is Sussex, your bloodline was born in blood. Your kingdom was the realm of the South Saxons, and its founder was a warrior named Le. The old chronicle says he came ashore around the year 477, with his 3 sons and 3 ships, and carved his way inland against the Britons. In 491, Le and his son Sisa cornered the last defenders inside the old Roman fortress of Anderida, the place we now call Pevensey. What the chronicle records next is chilling. They killed everyone inside. Not one Briton, it says, was left alive. Now that chronicle was written 400 years after the fact, so treat the slaughter as a clue, not a courtroom verdict. But this much stands. The monk Bede named Le the first king ever to hold power over every kingdom south of the River Humber, the first overlord of the English. And Sussex clung to its identity longer than any of its rivals. It was the very last Anglo-Saxon kingdom to give up the old gods and accept Christianity, holding out for generations after the others had bowed. If your name is Sussex, your bloodline was forged by the very first man the English ever called their master. Before we cross into the top 7, one thing. These next names are the ones that built England itself, and number 1 is the kingdom every other kingdom eventually knelt to. Hit subscribe right now, so you do not lose your place before we get there. Number 7. Coventry. If your name is Coventry, your bloodline belongs to the beating heart of England, the Middle Kingdom. Mercia. The name itself means the border people, the men of the mark, the frontier. For 200 years, Mercia was the most feared power on the island. Its pagan warlord Penda cut down king after king in open battle. Its greatest ruler, Offa, called himself King of the English and threw up a wall of earth more than 100 miles long to hold back the Welsh. Men still walk Offa's dike today. And in the Mercian town of Coventry, a mighty earl named Leofric and his wife raised a great monastery. You know her by another name, Lady Godiva. From its royal centers at Tamworth and Repton, Mercia held the balance of the whole island, and for a while every kingdom in the south paid it tribute. If your name is Coventry, your bloodline was forged in Mercia, the kingdom that ruled the middle of England with an iron fist. But one Mercian kingdom was swallowed so completely that its name has all but vanished from memory. Number 6. Worcester. If your name is Worcester, you carry the memory of a kingdom the history books almost erased. The Hwicce. Say it out loud. Hwicce. It was a real kingdom, spread across what is now Worcestershire and Gloucestershire, with its own royal line, its own people, and its own bishops seated at Worcester. For a time the Hwicce were a nation in their own right, and then, slowly, mighty Mercia swallowed it whole. Today the Hwicce survive only as ghosts, a whisper hiding in the names of old villages like Witchwood. Yet the great Earl Leofric, the husband of Lady Godiva, sprang from this vanished people. His own father ruled the Hwicce. If your name is Worcester, your bloodline reaches back into one of the truly lost kingdoms of England, a crown so old that even the historians lose the thread. And speaking of lost kingdoms, the next one gave its name to an entire Scottish clan. Number 5. Lindsey. And this one hides a genuine secret. If your name is Lindsey, or Lindsey, you have probably always been told it is a Scottish name, the name of earls and Highland clans. And it is. But that is not where it began. It began here, in England, in a drowned little kingdom out in the marshes of Lincolnshire called Lindsey. The island of Lincoln. For a time it had its own kings, a royal line that traced itself all the way back to the god Woden, before it was crushed between Northumbria and Mercia and lost. Then, centuries later, a Norman lord took his name from that same patch of English fen, carried it north into Scotland, and founded a dynasty of earls. So the proud Scottish Lindsays, every last one of them, are wearing the name of a forgotten English kingdom. If your name is Lindsey, your bloodline was forged in Lindsey, a kingdom that died and yet never once stopped spreading its name. But older still, and holier still, is number 4. Number 4, Kent. If your name is Kent, then your bloodline may reach back to the very first kingdom England ever recorded. Before Wessex, before the others rose to power, there was Kent, settled by the Jutes and ruled from Canterbury. And it holds 3 firsts that no other kingdom can touch. In the year 597, a monk named Augustine landed on the Kentish coast and carried Christianity to the English. King Thelbert became the first Anglo-Saxon king ever to be baptized. And then Thelbert did something no English king had ever done before him. He wrote his laws down. The Law of Thelbert is the oldest surviving document in the English language, older than any poem, older than any charter, the first English words ever set on a page. If your name is Kent, your bloodline was forged in the first kingdom, the first faith, and the first laws of England. Yet even Kent bowed, in the end, to the power rising in the north. Number 3. York. If your name is York, your bloodline was forged in the greatest kingdom of them all, at least for one golden century. Northumbria. It stretched from the Humber to the edge of Scotland, and its capital was the ancient walled city of York. This was the Kingdom of Light. Here the monk Bede wrote the first true history of the English people. Here the monks of Lindisfarne painted the Lindisfarne Gospels, page after page of gold and color that still leave scholars breathless today. And then the dragon ships came. The Vikings stormed York, renamed it Jorvik, and made it the capital of a Norse kingdom soaked in blood and silver. Later still, a royal house would carry that very name into the bloodiest civil war England has ever fought. The Wars of the Roses. The House of York. If your name is York, your bloodline carries a golden age, a Viking storm, and a king's crown. But the crown at number 2 founded something even greater than a kingdom. It founded a nation. Number 2, Washington. And if this is your name, prepare yourself, because your surname did not just come from a kingdom, it became a country. The name Washington was born in the far north of England, in County Durham, in the old heartland of Northumbria, on the very land where monks once carried the bones of St. Cuthbert down from holy Lindisfarne. There stood a manor called Wessington. In the 12th century, a knight took that manor's name as his own, and his descendants became the Washingtons. One branch of that family eventually sailed to Virginia, and from that branch came a tobacco planter's son named George Washington, first president of the United States. The man a capital city, a state, and a towering monument were all named after. Some even claim the family's ancient coat of arms, its stars and its stripes, whispered its way into the American flag. If your name is Washington, your bloodline was forged in Northumbria, and it crossed an entire ocean to build a republic. And yet, there is still one kingdom that outranks even this. The one that became England itself. Number 1. Windsor, the name at the very top of every list, because it is, quite literally, the name of a king. If your name is Windsor, your bloodline points to Wessex. The West Saxons, the one kingdom that flatly refused to die. When the Vikings drowned Northumbria, shattered Mercia, and overran East Anglia, Wessex alone stood its ground. Its king, Alfred the Great, turned the tide, and then his grandson Thelstan did what no man before him had ever done. In the year 927, he became the first king of a single, united England. Every kingdom you have heard named in this video was folded into his crown, and the name Windsor itself comes from the town of Windsor, in the old West Saxon heartland. In 1917, the royal family reached back and chose that very name as their own. The House of Windsor. The name your kings and queens still carry to this day. If your name is Windsor, your bloodline points to the kingdom that conquered all the others, and to the crown that still reigns from a castle above the Thames. If your name is Windsor, put a crown down in the comments and tell us which name on this whole list came closest to your own. Then subscribe, because the next bloodline we uncover might just be the one hiding inside your family name, the one nobody ever told you was yours.